Hello world, Red Randall back again to do another movie review. This time it is the 1970 classic George C. Scott and Carl Madden, Patton. This personally is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I will also try and convince you that it should be one of your favorites too. In part because it is widely regarded as one of the greatest movies ever made. It's one of the most awarded movies of all time. It's in the National Historic Registry for great movies. It's just an all-around great film. Great film. Alright, let's go ahead and get into it. The movie is Patton from 1970. It is directed by Franklin J. Schaffner. Schaffner won the Academy Award for Best Director in this. Moving along, this movie was produced by Frank McCarthy. He won the Academy Award for Best Picture in 1971. And a fun fact about Frank McCarthy is he actually served in World War II. He did not serve under Patton, but he did serve. He served under Joseph MacArthur. Excuse me, not Joseph MacArthur. MacArthur in the Southeast, fighting against the Japanese. I don't know why I said Joseph MacArthur. It was MacArthur. General MacArthur. Moving along, we have the film was written by Francis Ford Coppola, and he also, as you might remember, was very involved in a little film called The Godfather. And the other key writer was Edmund H. North. The two of them won the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay. Again, all these Academy Awards come from the 71 Academy Awards. I do realize it's down here at the bottom of this movie. It does say 1970, but as you also notice, it also says that they won 8 Academy Awards, and all my research online all indicates to just winning 7. I cannot find the 8th Academy Award they're claiming on here. Every other piece of literature online claims just 7 Academy Awards, so I don't know where this film is getting that 8th Academy Award from, but they have won 7 Academy Awards, even though this cover indicates differently. Moving along, again, as I said before, in 2003, this film was selected for preservation in the U.S. National Film Registry by the Library of Congress. That by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. So again, that just kind of goes back to goes back to myself not being the only person that thinks that this is a great film, but also the Library of Congress. It is widely regarded as one of the greatest films ever made. And being that the Library of Congress supports, also says it puts a lot of clout behind that kind of thing. And again, as you'll see, it's widely awarded by the Academy Awards, which is the highest award in the movie business. those awards are some of the best in the movie business. Moving along, the plot is one of the greatest plots ever. The plot is the life and true story of General George S. Patton. The movie itself was based upon based upon two books. One by, I'm gonna probably pronounce this incorrectly, but Ladius Farrago, and his book Patton, the Ordeal and Triumph, Patton, Ordeal and Triumph, and then also a second book by A Soldier's Story by Omar Bradley, who in this movie is played by Carl Madden, the co-star role here. Which leads me into my next point of who is starring in this movie. George C. Scott plays General Patton, the title role, who in which also won the Academy Award for Best Actor. And this is the Academy Award for him is probably one of the more strange Academy Awards in the history of the Academy Awards, because he is the only actor to refuse the Academy Award for Best Actor. The reasoning that he gave behind not wanting to accept it was he did not feel that he did a good enough job and properly portrayed General Patton in this role. So he actually refused to accept it, and to this day the Academy Awards holds on to his award. He has never accepted this award, but he was awarded it though, so take it for what it's worth. General Omar Bradley was portrayed by Mr. Carl Madden. You might remember Mr. Carl Madden from the Birdman of Alcatraz from 1962. It was a little film that was also starring Mr. Clint Eastwood. So, moving along, we have the music was done by Mr. Jerry Goldsmith, who was nominated for Best Original Score. He did not win, but he was nominated for that. Moving along, the cinematographer was Fred J. Copenkamp. Excuse me. He was also Academy Award nominated. And moving along, you also have the film was edited by Hugh S. Fowler, who won Best Film Editing at the Academy Awards. Again, another instance of the Academy Awards just demonstrating how great of a film it actually was by honoring it in several different areas. Moving on, the critics have given a 98% positive review on Rotten Tomatoes. And on Rotten Tomatoes also, they have listed it as the number 100, listed it on their position of number 100 position on Rotten Tomatoes list of best rated films. So according to Rotten Tomatoes, it is one of the 100 best films of all time. And on AFI's list of the greatest films of all time, the most recent one is also listed as one of the top 100 films of all time also. finally, getting on to some of the numbers. The numbers for this film, it had a $12.6 million budget, and the box office on it was 61.7 million. Then not as good as a lot of other movies out there who might be more commercially successful, but it does have it did make quite a bit of money whenever it came out. And again, as I said before, this movie has won a total of 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Sound Mixing, Best Art Direction, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Film Editing. So, but at the end of the day, for me, this movie just comes down to being one of the greatest stories ever told. It's about a great general who drove his way across North Africa, then across Sicily, then up into Italy, and then he moved out to Western Europe, and drove across Western Europe, including France, Germany. He was an integral part of the Battle of the Bulge and the Battle of Bastogne, and he is widely regarded as one of the greatest generals of all time. He is certainly on a top of the greatest generals of all time list. If he isn't the top general of all time, he is on the top of a lot of them. His biggest problem was probably his mouth. He got himself in trouble a lot of times for saying what he thought, whether other people liked it or not. He spoke his mind, and that has to be commended in some ways. He certainly is one of the most unique personalities in all of the military. One of the biggest things about him is that he also believed that he was a reincarnation of past warriors, going back to Napoleon, Caesar, going all the way back into medieval times, past medieval times, ancient times. He believes that he's a reincarnation of those past warriors. So he is certainly one of the most unique personalities that the military has ever known. There might be better leaders than him. There might be better politicians than him, but one of the things that you cannot take away from him is being one of the most unique people ever to lead men into battle. So, but again, at the end of the day, I would say that this is probably one of my most favorite films of all time. If anyone ever has the chance to watch it, I would highly recommend it. It is on AMC quite routinely, generally on Veterans Day or around some of those military holidays. It is around all that time. So if you ever flip into the channels and you happen to come upon it, I would highly recommend anyone out there watch it. So anyway, but again, if anyone out there has any comments, questions, anything whatsoever to say, I highly encourage any comments or questions or anything to say at all. I prefer that it be constructive criticism, but at the end of the day, if anybody does want to say anything, I wouldn't mind it. Thank you again for watching. I do appreciate it, and I will see you next time. Thank you again for watching.